Teardrop from my eye. You better save it for the middle of the night when things are black and white. And the troubadour, remember 24. Now, and you're just finding love. Isn't that a laugh? Major sacrifice, clueless at the time. Into Caroline, discuss me, you'll be fine. And when I'm back in Chicago, I feel it. Another legendary, I was in it. I want to the end of the beginning.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of No Cap Gaming. We're on episode 26, and I'm just trying to get some people up in space. It looks
26?
like
You mean 36?
36. Oh, it was like 26 extra people listening. Oh, now 40 extra people listening. It's all going well today. It's crazy. I was trying to invite one of our friends, beloved friend Shao, up here, and it looks like I wasn't offered the option to let him up. And so instead, I might have just removed him from the space by accident. So that's hilarious if true. But yeah, we have fantastic subject for today's space today. Gladiator Mayhem. When blockchain beats battle, when meets battle. And you can tell I am sick, I am husky, I am ready to fight. I'm grim, like bring everyone into this, introduce the subject, and let's get it
Well,
on.
we want to introduce, we got a fantastic studio that's developing amazing games, and we can't wait to dig a little bit deeper. But before we get to that, we got the ice-breaking question, as always, and I got a doozy. So, and I'll start with you, Matt, because I think it's a fun one. So, if you had to enter the Gladiator arena in real life, what would be your weapon of choice? And you can pick literally anything, even Jedi sword.
I think what I would do is I would like to be the guy with the net and the trident. And hopefully they would then treat me like a dwarf and make me fight against women. That's all I'm hoping. The net and the trident was, it's a lot easier to fight animals with the net and the trident. That's probably what I would go for.
That by Snoo Snoo.
Yeah, death by Snoo Snoo is better than death by lion. I do know a weird fact about gladiatorial combat in that this was when I was a small child. My mother worked at the BBC, and as part of the BBC, they have the Open University, and they were studying these. Essentially, they were taking pictures on the big camera, these plates from Rome with the sort of gladiatorial combat on them, and they named all the lions and the animals. They all had names, so people could bet on them. And one of them was called Luxurious, and he wasn't fond of eating Christians, so they had to put meat on top of a ladder and then tie the Christian to the ladder so Luxurious would climb up and damage them at least a little bit for entertainment. So yeah, interesting factoid for you there.
Well, snob lion.
What a snob. Yeah, Christians weren't good enough.
I'm not gonna even go there. I'll just leave it at that. But let's ask our friends at Gladiator Lightning
LFG.
Forge. Yeah, what would be your weapon of choice? Who wants to take this?
Yeah, I can jump in and take this one. Hey, everyone. Obviously, thanks as always for inviting us back yet again. Always great to be on NoCap. I've got a little bit of an advantage here because, like, most of our players have seen like our first faction, maybe our first 2 factions. I've seen the first 5, and I know what we're planning for the first 12. So I actually know a lot of the weapons that we're actually working on putting in the arena. So my pick actually has to be the Pirate Defender. Who walks around with an actual cannon. Because, walking around an arena with a sword or a spear is kind of cool, but you're kind of going to get beaten by a literal cannon. So, yeah.
I like that. I feel like
that makes a lot of sense.
It reminds me of one of my favorite character of League of Legends, Tristana. Always walking around with a cannon.
Yeah.
It also reminds me of one of my favorite fighting game characters in Soul Calibur, Cervantes. He was a pirate. He could literally just bring out his pistol and shoot you in the face. And I just love that movie. It was so good.
Yeah, one of the really cool things with how we're designing Gladiator Mayhem is we've got all these different factions, all different characters from all different backgrounds. We're really leaning into like the fantasy and just going kind of crazy and letting our designers just follow what we call the rule of cool. So if it's the sort of thing where you put it in and people are like, holy shit, that's awesome, it's probably going to make it into final release.
I love that. No, that's the way to do it. I see we also have some other people up on the space. I see a Sam Stefanina as well. What would your favorite gladiator weapon be, Sam?
Oh man, the one that I use every day, the microphone. I'll be up next to the kings, just yapping away. I'll do
So you'd be the commentator.
Yeah, you'll be the silver tongue. You'll be charming them.
That's right. Yeah. Instead of Littlefinger, they'll call me Big Mouth.
Isn't that a show? That's all good. A good one. We've got some more people up on space. We have Brett here from LFG. What would you be your weapon of choice? You are muted.
Unmute, Brett. Unmute.
I'm going to be a bit boring. I'm going to go for a halberd.
Maybe we have to run a business cat. Is that you, Brett?
Arena. Yeah.
You business cat.
Yeah, that'll be him.
Yeah, that'll be.
Let me bring you on the stage because people from space will not be able to hear you if you speak on stage.
This is the sad truth.
Yeah, there he is. Unmute all spaces. Oh,
there we go.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
I'm going to be a bit boring. Just go with a halberd. Got me for Dark Souls 3.
Well, do tell us why.
That's good.
Reach. I can smash someone in the head before they get close.
It's an interesting choice to go halberd over spear. I mean, halberd does have like the axey part of it as well. It is part axe, it is part spear. Does a lot of different jobs. Then again, like Warhammer is also quite long.
Halberd's kind of like just spear plus, right? It's just it's a spear with like the extra little like attachment.
Copy bit.
Spear can lift.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. We need some female energy. Pixie, tell us.
Hey, a crossbow.
Ooh,
brutal. And you get one shot. If you don't take them down, you are getting marmalized because the crossbow does take a time to load. Personally, yeah, the cannon, it does seem a little bit OP. Didn't know that was an option, but crossbow also good as well.
Yeah, with a big bolt because I'm taking out as much as I can with that one shot.
Yeah, no, you need a bolt that splits into like loads, I guess, and take them all down.
Nice, you take out the guy in the front. You'll be fine.
Good tactics there. I see we also have Big Will Spang. How's it going, man? What's your gladiator weapon of choice, Spang?
What's going on? Call me a traditionalist, but I'm a big fan of the flail and short sword combo because you got the kind of AoE of the flail / morning star kind of keeping people away. And people often say, oh, well, it can just get locked up by another sword or another shield. that's what the short sword's for. You anticipate the lockup strike. You're moving quickly in close quarters. I think it's fun. It's hip. It's what I use in most gladiator adjacent games.
Wise beyond his
yeah,
years.
that would be my loadout.
And that's a very good loadout. This sounds like someone who's, been a professional gladiator in a former life and has come back to revisit us with his wisdom.
A man can dream.
Who else wants to go? We've got plenty of people up here. Did you, JV?
Ooh, JV.
Hey guys, wow, good to see you again. Actually was going to say what Span mentioned, the Gladius. I think that you referred to the Gladius from that era, but I will go to the Pilum, which is a very gladiator a weapon they used for the far. It's like a spear, but a spear that you throw, and basically spear everything, shield, armor, and everything. This is mine.
And it's a good weapon, and the best thing about it is if it misses, you can't throw it back because it had a very narrow thing.
There you go.
And so it goes through the armor, sticks you. You're either dead, or if you try and pick it up, there's no way you're going to throw that back. And always good. We don't see a lot of single-use weapons in real life, but those are some of the earliest single-use weapons. Very high armor penetration on that one. And who else have we got up on the space? Anyone that hasn't had their opinion yet?
Yo, what's up, everyone? I'm glad to be
Hey,
here
man.
with the Warp and LFG fam. I would go with the spear because it's clean, efficient, and keeps the pay-to-win whales far enough that I don't gotta explain myself twice.
I love that one. I love that. The spear with extra range, just so you don't have to listen to them as you're stabbing them. They're like, all good. I think that was great. That was great warm up. Grim, what have you got cooking for us next? Some juicy questions.
Well, I think we can jump right in at this point. Why
I'd say
don't we just give LFG a little bit of space to just talk about their vision and how they came up with the idea for the game, and law of inspiration, and then we can dive a little bit deeper, also involving our audience and our panel. Who wants to take this one?
Yeah, I'll jump in. For those who may not have seen Gladiator Mayhem just yet, although you'll be seeing it very, very soon as we get very close to our open alpha. So GM, it's a 2v2 hero brawler, very what we call hybrid casual, so very easy to get into, but obviously with layers of depth and complexity as you sort of get deeper into the experience. It's going to be launching across both iOS and Android. So whichever brand of phone you personally prefer to use, we've got you covered in that regard. And look, there's a lot of really cool things we're working on within like the LFG ecosystem. Obviously starting with Gladiator Mayhem, but worth keeping in mind, GM is the first of multiple games that we have planned. And then one of the cool things we're doing is your accounts will actually sync across every game in the LFG ecosystem. So the heroes you collect, that you play with, that you level up in, say, GM, you'll carry across into YOLO and then carry across into GTFO as well.
Love that. I also love the kind of the naming convention you guys have got, like LFG, YOLO. Like, what was it that kind of inspired you to kind of stick to those things? And how hard was it to think up like a proper game for all of the initials, proper title?
GTFO actually was the first one that had the name, and then we sort of worked backwards from there. Like technically GTFO was the first game that we actually had like a design doc for, and then we're like, okay, this is awesome. And this, like GTFO, for those that don't know, is our epic scale auto battler. So think like teamfight tactics, stuff like that. But instead of having a couple of units on each side, we're going to literally cram as many in there as the devices and the back end servers will literally let us do. So epic, like if you've seen like the original Gladiator movie, not the new shit one, things like that opening battle, like, oh come on, it was terrible. But that massive opening battle with like the Roman army battling it out against like the barbarian horde. We want to recreate that in our own sort of take on the auto battler genre. So we sort of we came up with the name, and this is before we even had the name LFG. So we're like, all right, GTFO, like, you're trying to tell your opponents to, get the, well, you guys can fill in the rest there. And we're just like, okay, like, this is fun. And if there's one thing that I have always loved and appreciate about working in the gaming space, you've got to keep it fun. There's a reason why we choose to do this, not work on banking apps or stuff like that, where we'd all make a shitload more money than what you make working in games. I mean, Matt, you know that just as well as I do. No one gets into games for the money, that's for sure. But yeah, we sort of like, all right, cool, this is fun. And then Gladiator Mayhem, like GM, because we're all in bloody Telegram every morning, like GM. It's like, this just has to be the name of the game. And then outside of that, as we're sort of getting the studio off the ground and getting things rolling, we're like, come on, let's fucking go. LFG. And we're just like, hang on, this has to be our name. Like, this embodies who we are as a studio, like, absolutely perfectly. And then, we sort of just let it run from there. YOLO, obviously, it's our take on an ARPG. So that's your traditional, like, Diablo-style dungeon crawler. Although we add permadeath into the mix. So, YOLO perfectly embodies what we're actually doing there. YOLO, like, within the LFG ecosystem, each game, as much as they're designed to work together and be a fun experience for everyone who enjoys playing all these different games and having the same heroes and stuff like that, each one is also there to appeal to a very specific group of gamers. So GM, we call it the gateway drug into the LFG ecosystem. It's snackable. It's what I call the perfect toilet game, because you can just sit down, play it for like a minute, jump out, and go about the rest of your day. Grim, you know what I'm talking about. I see the face. You know what I'm talking about. YOLO is your perfect high risk, high reward sort of game. Keep in mind, all these games have built-in support for like streaming, replays, stuff like that. And YOLO, like, the vision for that is, imagine someone running through one of our YOLO dungeons, risking permadeath with their, one of one or their mythic hero, because there's a chest at the end of that dungeon that may contain, I don't know, a Bitcoin or something like that.
That's crazy.
So it is literally like, and if you're a professional streamer and you can't get 20K views on Twitch or Kick, if you're streaming this sort of high risk, high reward thing, well, then we can't help you. We're doing everything we can to set you up for success. And then GTFO is, the people that really want that epic scale, cinematic, like, sit back, cast it up to your TV, just have that big epic scale experience, but it's all running off, whatever phone you happen to have in your pocket.
That's pretty crazy. And it would also be much remiss of us to mention that there is, in fact, a giveaway on this space as well, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So, how do you want to do this? What can you announce what it is and exactly what you win?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we're giving away, I can't remember how, we're giving away 1, 2, I can't remember what we're giving away. We're giving away some a Forge key at least.
I think you're giving away a Forge key now, and then you got a stream coming up on Monday as well, haven't you?
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, let's just make it fun. Let's give away 2 today because, why not?
Oh, lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Forge keys are your key into the LFG ecosystem. So they're not tied to any one particular game. They will unlock value across every game that we release within the LFG ecosystem. The primary way they are doing that, so as I mentioned before, we've got 12 factions planned for GM. And obviously those heroes will transfer across to all the other games as well. Each Forge key that you own will unlock a free hero of at least rare or higher rarity for each of those factions. So you start with the Barbarians, Imperials, and then going forward from there. The other cool thing with Forge keys, we've deliberately tried to keep them very cheap and affordable. And the main reason for that is if you own a multiple of 5 Forge keys, so each faction has 5 different classes at launch. And if you have, say, 5 Forge keys, we will actually guarantee that when you claim your heroes, you'll get 1 of each class.
That's pretty generous of you.
Yeah, so if you're a collector, if you really want to play the game, you're a collector, you want to get in there, especially when the new factions drop, you want to be in there, day one sort of thing. We don't want you to have to, go and have to try and trade or find someone that, got a double of, the Guardian or, the Enhanced or something like that. So if you have a multiple of 5, you just go bang and, you'll get all 5. Now, obviously, they'll all be at least rare, but that will go obviously all the way up to potentially the one of ones as well.
That's crazy. So we know these things are going to be as fun as possible and sought after. And I think if anyone would like to screenshot this space and put a message in I think it's through our Discord, we're giving it, or somehow we will get to you. Screenshot it, go to our Discord on. You can find it on Warp Chain, and then post a ticket, and we will do a picker or some such thing. Comments in space, comment, like, retweet, spam the hell out of it. If you're not doing all of that, you won't get able to give. It's been so long since I've had an active game that actually exists doing a giveaway on a space. I've kind of forgotten how they go, man. It's absolutely insane. But yes, we will do it. Do everything you're meant to do on a space, plus more. Have heard of the game or seen anything. I'd like to start with Sam. Have you heard much about Gladiator Mayhem? Have you talked to the team before?
Dude, I've played it. I've played it at least twice. I played it in London. I played it again in Germany at Gamescom.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, had a blast. That's right. I saw you there too. Man, it's it's bite size. I'm playing Fableborn actually while I'm on the space. It reminds me a lot of it. It's very different, but somehow similar because a lot of it is controlling like a single hero unit. And I'm actually just really excited to see this genre begin to permeate a little bit more. Like it reminds me a lot of the fact that, I grew up on World of Warcraft. I loved the fact that I had like 80 abilities and it was chaotic and super hard to master, but super fun to sort of go through that progression. And unfortunately, these days, maybe 80 buttons is too much. But I will say, being able to get a variety of different heroes and progress through levels and customize and improve, that gameplay loop is something that I just feel like has been sort of pushed to the side in mobile gaming. And I think finally we're circling back to it, and I think it's going to be huge.
I think you're right, man. I think, the thing is that this game is just exciting. Like just playing it, when I get to my hands on it on the AVAX booth, instantly just wanted to play more of it. And we've also got Big Will Spang from Avalanche. What's your thoughts? You got any questions for the team? Are you excited? Gaming on Triangle, Dorito?
No, I'm super stoked, and I'm a huge fan of Marty and Co over at LFG. We've seen what they've been able to do over the last few years here on Avalanche, and they've consistently proven themselves as knowing exactly what people want and being able to build really well for a specific audience, and that's where I think and that's what I really love about their kind of grand master plan of having all of these games that really appeal to a specific group of gamers, because I really do believe that the kind of the age of the game for everyone is coming to an end. No more AAA open world RPGs with exploration mechanics. I think it's much more about finding a small group of people who are very invested in a specific genre, and I think the LFG are setting themselves up for a lot of success here. And I think I may be front running a bit of your segment, so you can tell me to shut up if I am, Matt. But I would love to hear a little bit more about how Warp and LFG are working together. I think that's what I'm super excited to hear about, because I'm a huge fan of both teams, and very eager to hear more.
Well, I've got a massive treat for you because you are front running all of the segment, but it's all good. Like, as you can see, like, this is a fantastic game, it's a fantastic team. And how we work together is we essentially are there for LFG to provide whatever we can, whether it's tech, whether it's help, whether it's design support. We are there to do that for free for them because we share in the riches. So the idea is that LFG get nodes for their game, for running it, and that's a kickback on the publishing earnings. We don't take anything up front. We don't charge anything for their campaigns or anything that they do. We agree to distribute the game to our network. We also help with the metrics and make sure that that they are hitting the targets they want to hit at the pace they want to hit them, and scheduling the things that they want to schedule. And we grow with the game. And this is part of the whole thing, is that the guilds that we are showing this game to are getting nodes that will essentially get revenue from this game. So this game is going to people who, if they enjoy and play this game and that game does well, will reward them. And that's great because we don't have to be back to the era where every single game has to pay you like a neurosurgeon just for turning up. We can actually have genuine games that have risk reward, that make money, and that people play them for the love of the playing as well as for the fun and the things they get, because the revenue from that game will help also grow our network. And therefore, the revenue from all of the other games and all of the other studios we're working with, like Triumph and the rest, will help support the growth of this game as well. So it's a decentralized publisher in that we are all in it together. We've signed with, you've not only seen us have a strategic partnership with KGen and YGG, but actually a Capital Guild partnership, which means they are part of the Warp network. They will be plugged into the Warp network, and can also reveal that we are getting access to the YGG sub guilds as well. So they will also be included in the network coming soon. So far, our reach is hitting around 45 million verified real players across basically every single country in the world. And we know from both scaling Web 2 and Web 3 games how to help and what to do. And we are also led by the LFG team. And before the break, I'll hand it over to you guys and say, feel free to shed any light on what it's like working with Warp and what you hope to get from it. Thank you, Spang, for the nice setup.
Yeah, I mean, I can say from like the LFG side, like working with Warp was a no-brainer. I mean, we've been chatting now for quite a while. I think even back at Summit back in was it August? I think it was. Time is just we're what, a week or two out from open alpha. So for me, sleep and time is just all mixed together at the moment. It's crazy. But we knew from the very start. And again, I've worked in like traditional gaming for getting close to 2 decades now. It's been way too long. I had more hair than Matt at one point. But yeah, unfortunately, don't anymore, unfortunately. And one of the biggest things with games, like getting to the point where you release a game, that is not the finish line. That is the starting line. Games really do take a village. And being completely honest, being the team that can build world-class gaming experiences does not make you the team that can market and publish a game. Those are very different skill sets. As a small indie studio, we recognize where our strengths lie. We recognize where our weaknesses or opportunities to work with other partners need to be. And yeah, pretty much from the first introduction we had with Warp, which, if you remember, was a little pub near Summit. Where we just
I do remember that. I think Sam was even in that pub, like that desperately weird pub that was kind of meant to be on the roof, but then they locked the gate.
Yeah, everything good in Web3 happens in a pub for some reason.
Yep, that was good fun.
We started the conversation there, and very quickly realized that there was a very natural opportunity from both sides. We wanted to work with a world-class publisher, and obviously, you look at the resume of the Warp team. You guys have literally done everything, especially in the mobile space. And we knew that for Gladiator Mayhem to sort of have the potential that we know it has as a game, like the metrics we're seeing from our early testing, both with Forge key holders and some external partners, is literally off the charts.
It's crazy.
This really has the potential to go parabolic. So yeah, for us, it was critical that we partner with the right people to make sure we could actually realize that vision. And yeah, obviously Warp made a lot of sense.
I'm going to reset the room in a second, but I just say, I've literally had conversations with people in this space where we've been, looking at the games and things. And I think there was one poor studio we talked to where I turned around and said to the poor chat, I think this is the worst retention I've ever seen in my 20-year career. And they had a day one of 6% or something atrocious like that. But when you see numbers that exist like this, if we were to have ever seen numbers, even scratching the surface, even 60% of the numbers that we're seeing on this kind of game, this would be the thing that would make goosebumps, like rise up on your arms in a big company like King or Rovio, because you would know that this has the potential to be a Clash of Clans. This has the potential to be, you know, one of those massive games like Brawl Stars or like Puzzle and Dragons. You can see that this is like what gold is made of. Like, this is really rare, and it's really rare to see the configuration of numbers in the order that you see them. To those that know, that makes a lot of sense. To those that don't, just it's a very good sign. It's rarely seen. It's like, you know, when you get a blood moon at the same time as you sacrifice the goat, and then it opens the mystic pathway to unimaginable wealth. This is literally what this is doing. And so I think, you know, it's because of the craft. Like, and I think that's one of the things that we've forgotten about in this space. Like, when you see a game with actual craft, where they put genuine effort into it and like actual consideration for the lore, for the characters, for how they stand, for how they look, for how the gameplay second to second, when you put that, every little like mistake that you don't do adds so much. Because when you're building a game, like, you can have a really good concept, you can have a fantastic like thing that comes together in a couple of weeks, everyone loves it, but as soon as you start building it, it just washes away, and it just becomes like a shadow of its former self. This is the opposite. Extremely happy about this.
And just to that point there, especially, like, there is so much, you know, getting a game to, like, say a prototype stage is a relatively straightforward process. You know, 80% of the work in gaming is that last 10% of getting things over the finish line. You know, for people that have been around this year, like Sam, I can't remember if Sam saw GM back at GDC, but, you know, we had
playable, you made one of them.
Yeah, we had a playable like 2v2 version of the game at a bunch of events at GDC. We had it in the Gagme House. We had a bunch of like indie showcases. Obviously, then, you know, people have seen the evolution from there to, you know, AVAC Summit to Gamescom over in Cologne, Germany. And, you know, if you just sat back and just looked at the game, you know, or a video or something, you might actually sit there and go, hang on, this is, you know, the team's done nothing for the last 6 months. But the second you actually pick up the game and actually play it, and you're like, ooh, you know, the controls just feel so rock solid. You know, there's so many subtle things in animation, in juice, in, you know, we've reworked the scoring system. We've reworked the way that damage is calculated on the back end. We've worked on a bunch of front end features so that your heroes, you know, there's actually a reason to want to level them up and unlock different forms of progression as you're actually going. There's so much that actually takes to get something like this over the finish line. And again, especially in the time frame that we're talking about, GM, you know, started life, or we started work on what is now GM, you know, at the start of this year. So this is, you know, under a 12-month dev cycle to go from, you know, literally, you know, the old gray box prototypes of boxes and spheres moving around on a screen to where we are today. So yeah, very, very keen to open the floodgates alongside Warp. Get lots of people in. Hopefully don't break the back end servers too badly. We've done some testing, but hopefully we're actually all our back end is powered by AWS. So yeah, I mean, they've only had a few outages lately, so it shouldn't be too bad, right?
Stop the internet down.
Yeah. Well, what I mean,
like,
the internet goes down,
is also good, isn't it? I mean, it's very rare that you meet a team that actually knows why people pay back-end engineers so much. I've seen games with about 50 people in them with like 50K a month, like server bills, and I'm like, why are you just using Photon raw? And I think they are, a lot of them. So it's important for people to actually know what the difference is between working with an experienced team and working with a bunch of chances. And for chains like Avalanche, like teams like this, rare, and you're lucky to have them. So give them more Doritos, bang. Yeah.
You know, one thing I wanted to ask is because you guys come from, you know, a broad experience over Web2. What do you think are the core learnings that you brought over to Web3 that like sets you apart, you know?
It's a really good question. And I would say at a high level, because we talk to a lot of teams, you know, other teams working in the Web3 space. You know, we've done a little bit of consulting and stuff like that, you know, just trying to help. You know, at the end of the day, the more quality products we have in the GameFi space, the better off everyone is in this space. So we do whatever we can, whether it's at conventions and events or even just online, to sort of help uplift our ecosystem as a whole. Probably the biggest thing that we bring in as a team, it's that knowledge of what makes a game fun, and it's knowing how to ship. And because again, as I said before, like launching a game, that is step one of the process. If you don't have, especially if you're launching a free to play or a live op style experience, if you don't have a 6 to 12 month roadmap of content, events, game modes, things that you're doing to keep people coming back time and time again, if you don't have a rock solid re-engagement plan for how you're going to reacquire lapsed users, if you don't have the technical infrastructure to send push notifications to someone's device, if you're not capturing email so that you can send them an email going, hey guys, our new battle pass just started, why don't you come back and we'll give you, X or whatever it happens to be. You might build a great core experience, but there is so much more that needs to be there to actually operate successfully as a free-to-play live ops title. And then if you are really, really stupid, you then decide you're going to take that and do it across multiple titles with a linked backend, which is stupid. But we know that's going to be fun. We know that the players are going to really enjoy that, and appreciate the fact that you can have your heroes from GM just pop up in YOLO and run through crazy dungeons. So again, as much work as it takes to make that happen, we know it's worthwhile doing it. And we're literally we're having conversations with, partners that we work with on the back end. We've chatted with, platforms, so, iOS and Android, to make sure we're following all their requirements, but also making sure that we're taking advantage of any, upcoming new technologies, new releases, things like that, to, again, make sure we are just giving the best possible experience to our community.
Awesome.
Morning.
I think you're muted, Matt.
Am I still muted? Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
You just lag a little bit. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
But yeah, word of warning, Unity entity component system looks lovely from the outside, but is an absolute pain in the bum to work with. But if you ever go that route, it can help you if you have large amounts of units or anything on screen at the same time. That's always a joy. Trying to get something to work on a $99 Android phone is always a pleasure, and always an advantage for Web3 if you can get that to happen. So I'm Grim. Should we reset the room briefly?
Absolutely. If you're liking the conversation, as always, like, comment, share, and ask your question, and we'll engage, the team directly, so you can, interact with what they are presenting and all the gaming that are coming out. The next topic that I want to talk about is, we're talking about players. I want to dive a little bit deeper. How does Gladiator Mayhem make ownership feel earned, and instead of just bought? Because a lot of people worry about the pay to win kind of thing nowadays. We're talking about Web3. We need to take a different approach, and I think you guys have got it down to a science. So I want to dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah, for sure. One of the really key things that we're doing for GM, and again, whenever I say for GM, keep in mind, what I'm really saying is across every title that we build, because all the tech stack that we've built for GM has been designed in the way that we can sort of pick it up, move it to other games there as well. One of the things, again, we decided this very early on, and a lot of this comes from our experience working in previous Web3 titles. Brett and myself both come from a previous studio working in the Avalanche ecosystem. So yeah, it definitely helps not only to have that long history in gaming, but also have that experience in Web3 specifically as well. And it's got to be the case of where ownership feels absolutely seamless, and players at no point should be impeded by the tech stack or the technology layer of what we're actually doing. If you want to play a game, but you need to understand what a wallet is, what a private key is, what, all those sort of things, all you're actually doing is making it harder for someone to just immerse themselves in what you're actually building and enjoy the actual game. So under the hood, every single thing you own in Gladiator Mayhem is on chain. But on the front end, within the game client itself, we just present it as a standard, player profile and inventory screen, the exact same as what you would see in, a Supercell game, a Rovio game, or whoever it might happen to be. Because at the end of the day, most players don't care about how everything is working. And again, big shout out to Avalanche that, we're building everything, most of this on C-Chain, and it just works, which, makes our job a million times easier in that regard. But yeah, it's all about that UX. It's all about just making it really seamless. And more importantly, it's about everything we can make truly owned by the players is done so by default out of the box. Even if you are a Web2 player who is just downloading the game, playing it on the App Store, doesn't even realize they're playing a blockchain-enabled title. They just think they're playing a cool arcade game they discovered on the App Store. But they've actually got a wallet. They've got all their stuff that their own. And at any point, they can choose to take ownership of that wallet. So yeah, just a very different approach to what we see from a lot of other games.
Ooh, I love that. I mean, it's been something that everybody's been discussing. How do we make games fun and feel less Web3 technical mumbo jumbo? Because in the end, people want to play when I have fun. They don't want to know about the wallet, don't know about transaction, about marketplaces. Maybe, some players do, but the majority of Web2 players, they don't even want to know what, an NFT is. And I think you guys have definitely got the right approach to this.
I mean, the majority of Web2 players don't even seem to know or want to know like which company is making the game. And I think that's always funny. Like I remember when we were at King, no one knew what King was. They'd know what Candy Crush was. I think we also forget that when we get used to these things, that they make sense to us. But to a normal person, being a wallet where the money isn't actually in the wallet, it isn't a thing. Private key that is actually an insanely long numeric password, but then we decided to represent it in a bunch of random words because that was somehow easier. None of these things make sense to anyone who isn't heavily autistic and designed this, because normal people wouldn't have thought that would have made anything any easier. But yeah, we're going to give you 12 not really memorable words instead of just a really long number, which is exactly, to a normal person, looks the same as their wallet address, but that's actually their private key. So there's so many different things that people shouldn't need to know about. And if they do, it's upsetting and frankly terrifying. I think you guys are doing such a fantastic job of essentially obfuscating that by getting the game so extremely fun and people so excited about it that comes a second to actually experiencing this, winning things, and then progressing. Big props to you on that. I see JD, did you have a hand up? Do you have some questions?
Yeah, I got a question, but also I want to add something with your comment. Is like studios get famous because of game titles. It's definitely like that. I know about Blizzard because of Warcraft, and then StarCraft. So it's basically it's always like that. And my question to you guys, Marty, is we talk in this space, mostly in web space, about topics related to Web3 and Web2 and how to make things happen, how to move people from Web2 to Web3. So, to your experience, and also right now that you're representing Gladiator Mayhem, what do you think that you have especially to give to the audience? Like they say, okay, this is a great game, and this is a Web3, Web2 game that is pushing me to understand more about crypto, because at the end of the day, you guys that create, that develop games are the one who make the players come to our side of the force, to the Web3 side of the force.
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. And it's definitely one of those things where no one is going to choose to learn about blockchain gaming just, I don't know, they get bored one day sitting at home eating their Wheat Bix. You've got to incentivize them or give them a reason or a purpose to want to do that. Now, if you happen to be playing a really fun game that you genuinely enjoy, and then you realize, oh, hang on, if I actually look into what this, this wallet thing is and this blockchain thing is, all these cool things that I've unlocked through playing the game that I enjoy playing, that's the key there. Because they're enjoying the game, they are incentivized to actually want to go learn more about, the ecosystem that exists around the game. But that has to be the progression. It has to be start with the fun experience, then show them the value proposition. So, we almost think of the blockchain gaming aspect as like our end game content sort of thing. There is no point if you like one of my pet peeves, and I've said this a million times, when I go to play like a new, Web3 title, and the very first screen I see is like connect your MetaMask or connect a wallet, something like that, I close the web page and I move on with my life. Because you've introduced the wrong thing at the wrong time of the experience. If I go to play a new game, the very first thing I should see before I see a wallet connect, before I see a login screen, before I see, I'm gonna, here's a welcome bundle you can buy. Show me the game. Let me get my hands on it. I worked in sales a long time ago. One of the most valuable lessons I ever learned. If you want to sell someone a piano, sit their ass down and put their hands on the keys. That is it. You cannot sell someone a piano if they haven't touched it, they haven't played it, they haven't heard it. Humans are very tactile creatures. If you want someone to stick in a game, not just download it and tick a box and move on with their life. You want them to actually come back day after day after day and truly enjoy the experience and tell their friends and generate that beautiful thing, which we call organic growth. Then you've got to, the very first thing you need to show me is fun gameplay, and I need to get my hands on the game as quickly as possible. And to be fair, Supercell taught everyone this lesson 10 years ago. Go back and download Clash of Clans on a fresh account. And what is the very first thing? No menus, no things. They drop you on a screen. You have a talking head for like 1 or 2 frames, and then bang, you are doing something. You are touching the screen, and you are seeing things happen. And it's just this lesson that for whatever reason, and this isn't just a Web3 thing. Like Web2 makes this mistake all the time. They'll drop you into a convoluted menu where you're trying to figure out what you're meant to do, and you can't even work. Some games, and I'll shout out one of the Battlefield 6 betas I played early on. They drop you in this weird menu with 100 different things going on, and I couldn't even figure out what I had to click to play the game. The play button wasn't even on that first screen that I saw. And it's like, why are you getting in your own way? Why are you literally trying to stop me from playing your game? It is insane. And yeah,
I agree with that. I 100% agree on that. I think the only menu that is ever acceptable to start a game is when you're starting a horror game and you have that menu where you have to decide how black you want the screen. Like that, and then you turn it all the way up to as bright as possible because you're like, I don't want to be, I have things jump out in the dark. That's exactly what everyone does, though. Like, I swear to God, that doesn't probably even affect the brightness setting of the actual game. It's just for you to be like, oh, how scared is this person going to be? But that's the only acceptable thing for that. I think it's also a lot of people don't realize when you build your own game or you play your own game, how different it is to anyone to pick it up. And you can see that. And that's why I think, like having you guys on the Avalanche booth and then seeing that in person and like that you guys were actually watching how people play and they actually put their hands on the screen and, the stupid things that I was doing when I was doing, and then I was having to be shown, no, you do it like this. And it's like, you don't get to see that when you're building them. And that's why it's great to be able to actually experience those things and see how people play. I think that's
beautiful thing.
That's really good.
I can see. I think there's a few hands up. But I'll just say quickly: the beautiful thing with doing that over at Gamescom over in Germany was most of the people playing the game, I didn't even speak the same language as them. So I couldn't even. I don't speak German. I learned Guten Tag on the flight over. So like literally, I couldn't even have said to them like, "Oh, this is how you play the game." I just had to sit back and watch, and all I could do was like point at things on the screen. So yeah, I mean, just advice for developers. If you ever want to really find out how people experience your game, take it to a country that doesn't speak the same language as you and watch what happens. It was a humbling and a mind-blowing experience over there for the 5 days.
Awesome. I see Manic, you have your hand up, and also AG. Manic?
I just had a question. You're talking about dropping you into menus and all the convoluted stuff. Does anyone else totally rabbit hole if they drop you straight into the character creator?
Oh yeah, no, I can spend, hours or days in those.
Stuck for eternity.
Yeah.
The
Sometimes I
Sims
won't
did
even play the
a
game.
beautiful job of that. Yeah. The Sims 2, I think it was, they actually released the character creator as a separate thing about a week before the game came out. So they knew that was a thing, and they deliberately made it so that people would do that for the week, then they would actually get in the game.
I remember also that the new Dune game introduced you to a character creator as part of the experience and then reward you a collectible by doing that before the game launched. So, yeah, I think a rabbit hole right on point, Pixie, as always.
What's your favorite character creating, Pixie? Which one did you like the most?
Oh, wow. I really like the Fallout 76 one. It's really fun because you can be out there with your Raider haircut, but your power armor. It's just nuts. I love it.
That one's really good. I also like the Fallout 4 one where I made, me and my wife, we were playing the game together and we made a character look like Uma Thurman from Pulp Fiction, and then made her addicted to Jet as part of the character. It's always good. And there was also, yeah, exactly. And there was also, what is it? It's like Dragon something Inquisition.
Oh, yeah.
Dragon Age Inquisition.
That Inquisition had a very good character creator, and I'll never forgive my wife for making me like a perfect replica of me, and then making that giant guy with the bullhorns fuck that character in a scene. That was horrible. And, the trauma lives on in my heart. But then again, we made an elf that looked like David Bowie, and it was all better after that. AD saved me from myself as ever.
Did you say AG or JV? AG.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I remember I played the game during Gamescom, and I had the opportunity and the privilege to meet the CEO in person, and he handled me the socks himself. So, I feel like those early supporters, just because I got the socks. Not really. The best, character, I think the one I used, the one that made me win the socks was the Samurai. And I really enjoyed playing the game. That was a special day because I met a lot of legends and all of them were hyped. They liked playing the game too. And, sorry for not remembering the name, Alcatraz, I guess. I think that what the CEO said is true because, I live in Germany and I've seen a lot of German people try the game and they were just, flabbergasted. They were like, trying to discover this Web3 game that is really fun, And this is what I like about this game. It's really fun. And yeah, I wanted to say something, earlier, I think you brought a point about, the fun part, I think. Well, I think I forgot what I wanted to say. So when I remember, I'll just raise my hand again.
Yeah, all good, brother. So I'm going to drop another question for the team because I feel like now we got a bit to know you, the experience, and also the way that you approach gaming. And the next question is more about what you see in the future of Gladiator Mayhem and your games. What are like your arena collabs or maybe esport down the line? Who knows?
Yeah, we've revealed some of the plans that we have going into 2026. Obviously, we've told people we're working on a second title, stuff like that. Obviously, we have our new tournament mode. We're actually running a promotion at the moment, partnered with Beams, one of the Avalanche L1s, where we're giving away 25,000 tournament bucks as part of LFG Christmas. And that will obviously kick in when we unlock our new tournament system in 2026. Yeah, definitely make sure you're following us on all our socials to potentially have a chance to win some of those, which would be really cool. Outside of that, one of the cool things with our team is we actually have a lot of people on the team who have a background in AI. So not only are we building Gladiator Mayhem, doing tournaments, doing potentially esports, stuff like that. I mean, I'm literally wearing a TSM jersey as we speak. Shout out to TSM League of Legends, who doesn't exist anymore because Bjergsen left. And anyway, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, so we're building LFG agents, which is basically where we take all of the gameplay data that you create as a gamer. We let you train your own like LFG agents, so AI powered player who can actually play alongside you or even play on your behalf in the game. That's all on chain. So all of the actual training data, we call them codexes, you own, they'll be on chain, they'll be tradable. Your LFG agents on chain, tradable as well. And the cool thing that this actually unlocks is what we're building towards, which is what we call AFK and play, which is a world where, let's say, for example, there's a tournament at 2 o'clock in the morning. You really want to play, but, you've got to get up at 6 a.m. to jump on, the no cap space. So instead of you staying awake at 2 a.m., you register for the tournament. You tell your heroes, your duo, what you want them to do. You get to go to bed. They're actually online battling for you, playing so much like you that your opponents won't even be able to tell the difference if it's you playing or your LFG agents playing on your behalf. And then you wake up in the morning to a notification on your phone letting you know how you went. All the replays are there. We put together an AI-powered highlight reel showing you like a little 30-second clip of all the cool moments that happened while you were asleep, with one-tap sharing to TikTok and all your other socials, by the way. So yeah, shout out to all the streamers and influencers and content creators. We got you covered. And hopefully you've also won some prizes as you were going as well. So yeah, there is, as much as we are excited to build out the LFG ecosystem and have additional titles all working together, we have so much cool shit that we're planning for GM specifically going into 2026. Like I said before, launching a game is the start of the process. We are actively hiring as we speak. We are ramping up the team as we speak, because unlike so many other teams we see that, get to the finish line and that's it, we know that this is the start of something truly incredible, and we need to ride that wave the best we can.
What
That's fantastic.
Expect? Like season, leaderboards, reset on a couple of months. And sorry, Matt, I know you wanted to ask something. So, but I'm always curious because I envision, sort of like the Supercell recipe where they have this like seasonal switch that entices people to buy a pass that allows you to get like the most recent characters or things like that. But it's always cool to see, other teams approach.
Yeah, so there will be, we're not doing like account resets or wipes or anything like that. Although there will be a wipe going into open alpha for anyone who's been playing like as a Forge Key holder or an early access holder. So, when we do go public, it will be a clean slate for everyone, obviously. But yeah, there are plans to do like a battle pass style season system. So there'll be, every, X number of months, there'll be, a new pass that you can unlock and, sort of use that as a way to be rewarded for your progression as you go. As far as our tournament system goes, we're actually planning a pretty insane tournament like structure and schedule, where there will literally be tournaments firing on like a daily and even an hourly basis. Some of those will be PvP, some of those will be leaderboard based, depending on where we see the best engagement across the board. And then, yeah, one of the things we were very fortunate to be able to do at our previous studio was actually culminate in like a massive like yearly world championship for the game that we were working on. I would have to imagine we would be trying to do the same thing in Gladiator Mayhem, with the caveat that, again, as far as we're concerned in GM, once we launch AFK and play, we do not differentiate between a human player or an LFG agent player in any way, shape, or form. So there is a very real world where the person who wins the inaugural Gladiator Mayhem World Championship could be asleep at the time that they win, because they've managed to train the best agent that has gone through and has won like the whole thing. So yeah.
So
like
if
I said,
you're bad, your AI is going to be bad.
But here's where it gets cool. Yeah. I think as Bro was about to say, like, because your codexes are on-chain and tradable assets in our marketplace, there's nothing stopping you from going, hey, Matt, you're really good at playing the Imperial Warrior, the Samurai. Can I buy one of your codexes so I can use that to train, my Samurai up? So it's almost like, you can just have it play exactly how you play, or you can take inspiration from like Karate Kid and realize that you don't want to go full Miyagi-Do, you don't want to go full Cobra Kai, you want that blend, that mix of both together. And then, yeah, honestly, because of the nature of AI, there is some inherent randomness to how this whole system works. So I can't sit here and go, okay, if you take the number 1 player and the number 2 player and bring them together, that's going to create the best, like, warrior or whatever it happens to be. It may just happen to be that if you look at a bunch of players, and again, you can watch all their replays, you can see how they play, it's all built in. it may be a case of, some of the more lower ranked players, if you combine some of their codexes together and use that as training, and training stacks as well. So, it's one of those things you can keep training over and over and over. And it's like learning new lessons sort of thing. And as you train more recent content, some of the older stuff sort of falls away because, we're like humans, they get forgetful and they forget some of the things. So I think there will very much be an art, not a science. There will be an art to training your LFG agents. And then as they are developing and, establishing new tactics, new metas, stuff like that, it's up to the human players to work out how to counter that, which is creating new codex, new training. Like I think AFK in play is going to be potentially one of the secret sources that really does make GM just take off, because it's just creating this whole new way of experiencing this kind of game.
And one of the things that's fascinating is that is also something that you're sharing with other studios as well, and training the models to get even stronger and even bigger. And I think it's quite exciting because we're looking at a world where you'll be able to have almost entirely online digital personas that will control their own wallets, that can have their own crypto, that can then buy something like this to interact on a more human level with the rest of us, which is kind of interesting.
Absolutely.
It's all good. But yeah, I think as we're heading to the top of the hour, I would just like to remind everyone that does want to take part in the giveaway, share, repost, follow, do all of the things that you're meant to do. Screenshot, snapshot, follow, do all the nice stuff, and then we will pick a winner. AG down. You have your hand up.
Yeah, I do have a question for Marty. So Gladiator Mayhem seems like a game that can create real rivalries, real killers climbing the ladder, real highlight reels. As you mentioned, the AI part is where it gets really interesting. So when we can literally go to sleep and the LFG agents will play and post the top highlights on socials. So it's really crazy. And my point here is, are we getting close from esports?
It's an interesting question, and I'll be 100% honest here. I don't have the answer for you. We are doing what we like within the studio. We call this doing the ungoogleable, because we are truly breaking new ground here. No one has done this before. There's no playbook that I can fall back on. This isn't a case of like I can't look at traditional esports. I can't go look at Counter-Strike 2 or League of Legends or Dota or Street Fighter 6 and go, oh, this is what they did. It worked. Therefore, we can use that as a starting point and iterate from. We are literally writing the book ourselves from day one. I personally love the idea of a world where you have a mixture of human and AI players competing in an esports environment. I love the idea of us then also having additional separate tournaments, which maybe are AI only, human only, those sort of things as well. Because I think that it creates so many interesting opportunities. A world where you might have someone who isn't the best player of GM. They're not a serious gamer. And they individually, they would have zero chance of making it to our world championships, let alone winning the whole thing. But they study the game, they watch replays, they are involved in the community, they understand the meta, they spot an opportunity where it's like, oh, hang on, the way the AI is playing the pirate warrior is really interesting. Like, let me train this. And they go off and they do some training, they collect some different codexes, and bang, all of a sudden this player could theoretically be our next world champion. Not because they are the best gamer per se, but in terms of like pure tech, they're not a faker. They're not going to, pull out the, 1 in 60 second, little dodge, juke, all those crazy esports moments. Like think like Justin Wong and Daigo back at like Evo, back at what year was that? Like 2004 or something, where he had to do like perfect parries. Like everyone, if you're an esports gamer, you know the one I'm talking about, that moment thing. But like just someone who studies the game, someone who really understands why different combos and different tactics and strategies work. The fact that gamer now has just as much chance of winning a world championship as the Adderall-ridden 16-year-old who's got the perfect reflexes, and doesn't have any real job commitments and stuff like that, and can grind 18 hours a day. to me, that's that just is such an incredible world that we're moving towards. So yeah, I don't know what the future of esports could hold, but I would love to think that we could be a trailblazer in that regard.
I would love that as well, because I just want someone to be able to actually pilot the crazy janky magic decks that I make effectively, because I'm a terrible pilot, but as a game designer, I'm pretty good at discovering absolutely mind-blowing jank, and not being able to deploy it because I forget that I have open or untapped mana, and just make all the newbie mistakes. I just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure having you guys on today. More to come, lots more to come, lots more to work together on. And I'd just like to, hand it to you guys to send us off. And any call to actions, anything that you want to share with us in next coming stream or so, please let the audience know. And take us out.
Yeah, like I said, I think we've got a Forge chat, which are our regular spaces that we do. I think that's coming up early next week. So if you have more questions, you want to learn more about what we're building in the LFG ecosystem, I think some of our friends at Warp are going to jump in and join us on that one as well, which would be awesome. So that's coming up next week. So just follow us on Twitter and jump in all our socials. Outside of that, and we get this question all the time, how can we support you? What's the best way to help the studio? Honestly, it's really simple. When the game comes out, play it. Tell all your friends. That's it. That is literally as simple as it gets. You can jump over to gladiator-mayhem.com and pre-register. You'll actually earn a free hero skin for doing so if you do pre-register before the game comes out. So, hey, free cosmetics, always fun. If you do want to get in early, Forge Key holders do get early access to the game. Obviously, the game will be going into open alpha relatively soon. But obviously there's a lot more benefits to Forge Keys outside of just that. Obviously, we're going to give a couple away today, so yeah, good luck to everyone having a shot at that. Forge Keys, we've, as you mentioned, Matt, we're going to be making LFG agents available to other studios and other games. LFG agents, Forge Key holders will benefit from every partnership that we actually form doing that. That's literally, if you go back and check out the threads where we posted about that, our community is critical to our success. We want to make sure they get rewarded every step of the way. And yeah, outside of that, obviously make sure you're following Warp, follow all the other games and studios. I know there's a lot of announcements coming up for other potential Warp partnerships. There's some pretty big ones I think are coming up there as well. So definitely keen to keep this crazy ride going and roll into 2026. I might even take Christmas Day off, maybe, give or take.
Amazing. That would be really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone deserves it because, as the founders in the space and all the rest of it, we do work hard. We're not just here to be your punching bags when you don't get the airdrop you want or when the token that's unrelated to us goes down just because we're vaguely associated with it. Doesn't mean, that we're not working really, really hard on these damn things. So this has been an absolute pleasure. Grim, do you want to start the music and say bye-bye? Peace out to everyone.